You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
And welcome, everybody. We're back in Maximum Driftcast.
You did the background.
Everybody? Yes.
You did yeah, okay. So...
Paco, that was like one of the best intros too, by the way.
That was actually pretty
you.
good. Sorry. I'm sorry
Thank
to
you.
step on it. But if you're watching the video version of this, I would recommend you don't if you were curious. So Paco has been trying to spice up the video stream this week, and he's been sending examples, and he's sent this multiple times now, and each time I've said, fuck no. Yet here we are live with a fucking spaghetti bordered background.
With a fuck
And-
yes. That's where we are.
It looks fucking bad, and it looks gross. It looks
You
like...
don't, dude. What did Sam do? Did you outgrow spaghetti or what happened?
No, I think the spaghetti meme that we have surrounding our project here is fine and fun, and it's fun for the whole family and wholesome. This is perverse. It looks very sexual somehow, and it looks gross. I don't like it. And don't ask the chat. Don't fucking ask what
No,
they think. They don't.
he just asked, "How do you guys like our new frame?" And then immediately OMSR says, "Me what?"
Yeah, exactly.
That's a
'Cause
great answer, dude.
It takes people off guard. It makes them feel nasty. It makes them feel gross. Yeah, I love it. Looks okay. Of course you guys would fucking say that. You guys are a bunch of Paco sympathizers. Yeah, it's Ben. Shut up, Sam. Ben, my best friend Ben. And now he's here on my ass like usual. Before we get into it with our lovely guest here, who we're not going to introduce him. He's just going to be a guy there in his gamer chair and his gamer headset who doesn't play games, and it looks like he's drinking an icy beer concoction. It looks like a red
smoothie.
icy. Hey, you can't talk yet. We don't know who you are. Don't talk
Wait.
just kidding. This is our good friend Dustin Miles. Dustin, hi.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey. Before,
Hey.
so I went on the Maximum Driftcast discussion board right before this here hot episode, and Paco, you fucking stirred up some shit.
Dude, apparently, so yeah, and actually I want to make a public apology and statement.
Hold on,
about-
hold on.
Oh,
Can
man,
you
I
please
missed something good.
hold on before you make a public apology? Can you talk about what it was that you're supposedly
Yeah.
apologizing for? What was it? What happened, Sam?
So, Sam,
Or
do
Paco.
you want? No, I
Do
mean,
you,
let's.
do you want my perspective? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. So
please go for it.
I was like, oh, I wonder what the discussion board's been up to this last week. And apparently, right after last week's show, Paco posted an image quote that says, in highlighted red, Formula Drift news, all caps.
Oh,
and then it
no.
says, Pro-Am drivers who earned a Formula Drift license will have the opportunity to choose if they want to compete on Pro or ProSpec. And that's quoted as Kevin Wells. And then above it in much smaller text in like the Facebook commenting display area, he writes some expansion of that. But first things first, did Kevin say those words, Paco?
I quoted exactly what he said.
Okay, cool. Just making sure that's okay. As long as we quoted exactly what he said. Nonetheless, it is a very out of context quote that you highlighted as like a one-liner. That's like.
What it is it was like an intentional fake news kind of a situation.
And it was, but the problem with doing intentional fake news and then not calling it fake news is that people think you're making fake news.
No,
But
well,
was it fake news or was it real? Or
Well,
we were
no,
discussing context?
So this is why I
Yeah.
wanted to make like
it's not a lie. It just has no explanation around it. And of course,
that's
the
the thing.
immediate comments were all very negative and angry. And then Sage came in and had to clear up the water. And then
but here's
Paco
the
said, of
thing.
course, like, no. In the very small fine print above it, I did write pending petition approval, so that's okay.
Yeah,
But
so-
nonetheless, the big, bright, bold quote that says, anyone can join any league if they want to. Yeah, it like, and if you listen to the whole episode, you would hear us say that, oh, it's pretty much the same as it was before, because at any point, anyone could petition to go where they wanted to. And and no, I shouldn't say, yeah, they could petition to do it. That doesn't mean they're going to be accepted. But anyways, Paco, you're up.
Okay,
What the
thank
fuck,
you. So-
Paco?
And by the way, did anybody reach out to you about the comment, Paco?
Directly, as in like, because I mean, a
Say,
lot
yo,
of people.
like, yo, why did you put that up there, you ding dong?
Oh no, but I did talk directly to Sage at some point. But so what happened is like I made this post while we were on the show. We were still live, and I was like, all right, let's just do like some sort of breaking news to get people to tune in. And in the description of the post, I clearly said, like pending approval. But obviously nobody reads the descriptions of the post. They just saw the image. And so at some point, yes, it was a little clickbaity, and I admit, my fault. I admit that it was
At best, we could call it clickbaity.
yeah, it was definitely clickbaity. But my intention is that we had a lot of people who were mad about they saying their cars were sober built now, that they weren't going to be able to go to ProSpec. And when we were talking about that with Kevin, and Kevin is like, well, come down, guys. What if
Great impression.
Thank you.
Award winning.
What is it, little squirrel, Kevin?
So Kevin.
Hey, it's
Kevin
me.
is
I'm
like-
gonna steal your nuts and store them in my mouth.
Yeah. So Kevin is like, no, but now your car can, like qualify for pro. So, and I remember Sage in some post said something about, just wait, like there's gonna be updates, and when Kevin said that you could actually qualify, I thought this was like, oh, okay, so this is some sort of actual good news, where some of these guys with like overbuilt cars, they were feeling like their car wasn't gonna qualify for ProSpec, so it might qualify, at least the car might qualify for pro. So funny thing is, like, some of the people who were actually mad about the original news, they were like, oh, that's kind of cool. But the majority of the people who obviously they just want to watch the world burn went on a maximum, overdrive of anger and furiousness. And
Yeah, Paco, blame the victims. I get it.
but it's my fault. If anybody wants to take it on anybody, take it on me.
Well, I think it was. I don't think it was a bad post. Maybe
Thanks,
could add
Corey.
some
Yeah.
more.
No, I don't think it's a bad post
I don't think it was a
either.
bad post either, because, like, once again, you're highlighting. Look what it did. It created so much a discussion and brought people together. Even Ryan
that the
Sage,
founder of Formula
yeah,
Drift had to
Ryan
come in and
Sage
clear up what
jumps
you
in
were trying
there and
to clear up what
comments
you were
on it.
saying.
But you know what? Hey, that's power
Hey,
to
that's-
media, and it's a highlighted point. You look at any newspaper, and it's like, yo, this is the fact. It is the facts. But we didn't even have all the news either, too. But it was like, yo, this is an important statement.
I'm just saying that as the world of drifting's most credible news outlet, we have some standards to uphold, Paco.
I mean, that's the problem. Like, I still have to get used to this level of power. I don't know. I had no idea. Now that I realize that the entire world is listening to my poorly written words, I have to, like, watch out, because, I mean, what's next? Like, people sending death threats and love letters to my house.
Is that what's going to happen?
Do you think that that's what's going to happen? Everyone's going to have just really polarized reactions of loving and hating you?
I don't know. Why don't we ask our perfectly recently showered guest that's sitting right there in the corner?
So
Let's see what
he
he
looks-
thinks.
he's very wet for sure. Do you know anyone that's partial or not partial to the new Pro 2/Pro Spec rules? And also another thing, Paco, we're gonna get to it later. You fucking didn't use any of my cool puns for the title of last show, but let's get to that later.
I'll
Justin,
do
do you
that
know anyone that's happy or sad about the Pro Spec rules?
A little bit of a little mix of both, I guess. I do know someone who has that. Happy and sad.
What have you heard? Like, what have you heard, and then what is your feelings?
Well, I mean, it definitely has its pros and its cons, like it definitely hit me hard a little bit, in the sense that it's going to hit my budget a little bit. And if I'm able to, get out there this year, then I'm going to have to, make some changes and all that kind of stuff. But so that kind of sucked for me, because I was kind of hoping to ride the wave of a completed car and just, go on through the season. But, it has its other advantages where it seems like they're really taking time to make the sport something a little bit like taking us, I guess, a little bit more serious in a sense. Like, I'm not saying that they weren't previously, but it seems like they're taking extra steps to kind of equalize the Pro 2, what was, to Pro Spec and now Pro, which is really cool with, getting the engagement of autograph signings and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's something that's definitely been missing. And, it's been kind of hard for us. I mean, it's been actually cool because, as a Pro 2 driver, you had to hang out by your car a lot if you really wanted to talk to people. You know what I mean? That was kind of your interaction, and you kind of got to leeway right into stuff for people, to show them your car. But it would be really cool to have that kind of, I don't know, exclusiveness of sitting somewhere and then, coming through. That would be really cool, and that'd be something that a lot of people will be looking forward to, I guess.
Yeah, it does seem the best part of all this is the fact that it seems like they're focusing heavily on giving ProSpec, that's what I'm going to call it from now on, drivers a much more equal weight of FaceTime, screen time importance to Pro.
And I also like the whole competing on the same day thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And practicing and all that on the same day, because a lot of the times it would be like we would compete on Friday and then everybody would get the most of the driving on Saturday, and we'd be watching, as far as a competitor that is learning a track, to watch competitors that have been on that same track for years and years and years. It's a lot more of an advantage to be able to get to watch them a little bit more, because on Thursday when we have practice all on the same day, it's like it's a madhouse to get yourself prepared and all that, much less being able to sit around and get to watch some practice,
And only super fans are really showing up on Friday and Saturday too. So it's like you're not seeing the walk-ins. The walk-ins that are like, what's this drifting thing? Like my first drift event, I was like, what's this drifting thing? I'll go on Saturday, because everything before that doesn't seem as important. So
so that's definitely really cool.
But what about you said it's going to cost you money to adhere to these new rules?
I'm kind of one of everybody started complaining about the whole sequential thing, but there was really only about a handful of us in Pro 2 that had one. So now ProSpec needing to switch and modify our cars. But so basically having to just sell off some of the things. Like, I have a high dollar ECU that I kind of felt like that was an investment for me forever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I spent the extra money to kind of buy something that I thought would be something that I would never have to replace, and a harness that's associated with that. And of course I could do a jumper or whatnot, but it's still cost associated. And also, like, I'm like particular about how I want my build and how I want things presented. So I might not want to do a jumper harness, so that's building a whole new harness and cost associated with that. And then just the amount of money lost from having to sell parts that I've already acquired that I was planning on just having forever, kind of thing. You never get that kind of money. And even if you break even, you're still going to have to buy all the other supporting things, where you're reshimming a throwout bearing and buying a new clutch or buying a new adapter plate, buying a new bell housing, buying all this, buying all that. And I mean, that was one of the things one of the biggest hurdles that killed me last year. And it wasn't anyone's fault but my own, but it was a hurdle that we had to switch to the SFI bell housing. So then I had to do the whole thing last year, get a new bell housing, get a new adapter plate, get a new throwout bearing. So I already just spent that money. And then I also didn't do it right. So I ruined that and spent thousands upon thousands of dollars trying to figure out how to make that setup work, because it was something that was new to me. And it's just nerve-wracking to have to know that I got to do that again right now. You know what I mean? And it's like one thing after another. Like, we weren't all prepared in having an SFI bell housing last year, so we just spent that money. And then so, like, the people that were lucky enough to have a 4-speed, good for you. You don't have to spend that money again. But, the people that had sequentials, we got to spend all that money over again, because most times they're not really transferable, except in like one case with a 6XD, you know what I mean? But anything else than that, you're having to buy a whole new setup, drive shaft, everything, you know what I mean? And that's money. That's not cheap. That's still $3,000 right there, and just the supporting stuff around the transmission that you have to buy.
Can you repurpose all that stuff for if you intend to go pro or party car? I mean, it doesn't seem like, obviously used car parts usually greatly depreciate depending on the part, but do you intend to go pro, and will these apply then, you think? I know ECU is kind of contentious because they said eventually they do want to go with a standardized ECU, but still that seems a way out.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of cases, yeah, I guess in a perfect world, you could just kind of keep everything that you have and buy all new stuff. But, budget restraints kind of limit people from being able to say, oh, yeah, I'll just buy all new stuff and keep all the old stuff around too. Like in my case, I really have to be mindful and say, all right, well, if I'm going to have to do that, I got to sell this, I got to do that, I got to, lose something to make something else happen. And fortunately for me, though, I'm in a situation where I was able to keep my Pro-Am car as it was and still have my Pro-Am car as it is now. And that car ends up being a whole lot more closer to what ProSpec will be. And also it kind of gives me a chance that I honestly felt like maybe in the beginning that if these rules were in place, that, yeah, maybe I would have saved myself a lot of trouble in having to take my Pro-Am car straight on in, which is a great thing for drivers coming up in the future. Like, it's great for them to be able to say, okay, I'm going to take my car from Pro-Am and use that same car as it is, basically with minor, modifications, and onto the next level. Whereas my situation, I built a car for Pro-Am and then I built a whole nother car for what was Pro 2, and they were completely different kind of. And so I had a whole new learning curve of a whole new car, finding out kinks and bugs. And I mean, it's taken me 3 seasons to finally feel like now after the 3rd season, I've gotten everything ironed out to where I figured out what I was breaking and I figured out where my points were, where my failure points are. And I'm ironed out and ready to go for the next season. But now that car has to be kind of redesigned. So it's like, well, maybe I'll just go back to what I probably should have done in the very beginning and change the car that I've actually had a lot more success in to go and give it the shot, that so I don't look back and be like, maybe I should have tried it in that car if I'm going to try it. I don't know. It's all about thinking about what am I not going to regret in the future, which is kind of stupid.
Speaking of,
You mentioned kinks. Did you know that Paco's really into hentai?
I was just gonna ask, like, what are your favorite kinks?
Paco, your humor is upgrading. You're now starting to think the same as me.
Yeah, I guess we have been hanging out. Like, how long have you been doing this podcast for, Sam?
It's longer than you've been looking at. No, not as long as you've been looking at.
Sam, look,
What?
look, there's a cat behind Dustin.
Oh, where?
Bear.
I haven't seen it.
Behind him.
No, he said it's a bear. Paco, learn how to fucking read.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's a baby bear.
So
Corey,
I
yeah.
was gonna ask Dustin. So how many people do you think are gonna go from sequential back to 4 speeds this year?
I was thinking on maybe 4 or 5
4.
people, depending on who comes back that kind of took last year off, like what other, because there was a lot more last year. There weren't as many, but there weren't as many drivers, you know what I mean? We were like almost half the field of what a normal, what it was 2 years ago, so it would depend on how many people come back that weren't there.
So you mentioned a lot of cons, or not really cons, but just hurdles that you've been having to go back through with having to now remove your sequential transmission and put a 4-speed in.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any positives about putting a 4-speed in your car?
There's a lot of positives about putting a 4-speed on the car. I don't think one is an advantage over the other. I really think it's personal preference. And like in my case, I've had a 4-speed in the car in my hatch, and I, like 2 years ago, I used like half the season. This year I ran into some problems, put it in my car again, and didn't have any problems really associated with it. I had other problems still, but I don't really think that there's necessarily a disadvantage or an advantage to one. I just think it's really on preference. Like, I'm so used to that car having a sequential that it's just kind of like the motions that I already have, my mechanics of driving that car already have certain things that I'm used to doing. And then my 4-speed was already in my coupe, and I've got the same feelings for that. So I would be like reverting the two and having to relearn both cars and feeling how to get comfortable back into both cars. And I feel like then I'm back into square one where I started 3 years ago, and I want to really try and use the things that I've learned in my experiences to better my experience that could be this year, you know?
Yeah, and because I think a lot of things that we discuss is cost, right? I think one of the rules is like controlling spending. And ever since we did do that episode with Kevin, it was talking about how to manage a budget. And we've been reached out to by a lot of different people saying, why should they tell me how I should manage my budget? Would you agree with them stepping in and kind of putting, I say budget constraints, but I don't know if it is budget constraints, but how do you feel about that thought or that analogy? Is the reason they're doing this is to reduce costs?
Well, I think that their thought process and doing it to reduce cost for the masses is definitely great. You know what I mean? Because the average person, you know, me, myself, the majority of people, honestly, getting into this, and anyone really involved in drifting, no one really has all this stuff down pat that are just getting involved.
Except for
into
Pat
it.
Gooden.
Pat, you know, passionate Pat for sure.
He's got it down pat.
And if he doesn't, don't argue with him about it because he'll let you know. But anyway, so I felt like them kind of setting a guideline and saying, hey, this is kind of where you need to be. Because honestly, I mean, the first year that I was involved in Pro 2, we go to the first drivers meeting at Orlando, I believe it was, and the first thing they said was slow your cars down. Y'all are all out there trying to drive a car that is way too crazy for you to even be out there trying to drive right now. And it kind of like, it made everybody look sloppy in a sense because you're out there trying to overdrive a car that is, you're putting too much like grip and setup into the car that you're not really used to yet. And so they're trying to tell everyone, slow down, slow down, slow down, but nobody's going to do that because it's competition. So I feel like they're trying to limit that in a sense. And not to mention, like, they're trying to keep something in the back of their mind to say, hey, we want to be able to let, you know, a all-out privateer team be able to compete with someone who might come in with a lot of backing, you know? But I think the thing that they're kind of like failing to really mention in the sense of saying, hey, we're trying to make this more affordable, is that if you're really, really worried about costs associated with building the car to come compete, this really isn't the competition series that you really should be focusing on trying to be out at. You know what I'm saying? You need to focus on building your program in other places, focus on doing other things that are within your means in a sense. Like, I hate being a negative Nancy and saying all this like realistic things to people, and I end up coming off bad because I say it this way. But like, you know, the cost of running 2 or 3 seasons back to back, which is what you're gonna, you know, 4 or 5 seasons, whatever. You don't want to do one season and be out. You want to continuously be able to be out there. If you're going to be out there, you need to be able to have that in mind when you're getting involved with it in the first place. You know what I mean? And that's kind of one of the things where I feel like they're saying, oh, we're making it more affordable. We're making it more affordable. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you're making it more affordable in a sense, but it's not means it's going to be more affordable to just anyone and everyone. You got to keep that in mind that it's motorsports. It's going to cost every single dollar that you have in your pocket, because that's how much motorsports costs in any sense or fashion. It's just kind of how much money do you have to spend, you know?
But isn't it better to at least, I can't really speak for the steering rack or a couple of the other ones, but I feel like the sequential rule makes sense to me. But again, I'm not competing, and I've never bought a sequential, or nor have I felt the real difference between them. Like, that one kind of seems to make sense to me.
Yeah, I can see it making sense. And, you know, I can see it making sense of, you know, mandating a spec ECU, you know, because then at the very least, it'll make it easier for Formula Drift to kind of keep an eye on what everyone is doing. And so, yeah, if it's kind of like something that's established and over time, yeah, this is going to, all these things are going to be great in 2 or 3 years. But it's just kind of like, in my situation and right now with everything that had kind of happened, like in the economy and with the, you know, the whole pandemic and everything, it's just kind of a lot on top of a lot. You know what I mean? Like a big switch around right in a time where it wasn't necessarily an easy season for anyone to say, okay, now we're going to do a whole 180-degree flip and we're going to try it a different way, you know?
Yeah, I guess, I could see that absolutely, where it's like, it's a bummer that they chose to maybe implement them immediately, versus saying, hey, for next year, this is going to start maybe like a little more lead
Yeah, a
up
little more of a
time.
buffer, more of
'Cause
a
People
planning
that
time.
are exactly
What did you
people,
let me ask this
real
as
quick,
we
let me
talk about
finish on this.
Okay.
People that are just real quick, people that are already like in the mix right now, I can definitely see them being jostled a bit. People coming into it in 3 years, sure, I feel like that might be a boon to them to not have to spend as much on that shit. But sorry,
For
Corey,
sure.
go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. So, what roughly, what would somebody spend on swapping back from a sequential to a 4-speed? Just an idea, because that is now an expense added on top of your budget that you're already spending, anyways, right? This is an additional cost. So, what type of additional cost would you incur? Just an idea.
mean, I would say it's case by case. If you just like bought a brand new sequential and you just paid $13,000 for the box that I have right now, if you just bought it, it's probably going to be 13 grand. 6-speed, 5-speed sequential,
Yep.
Samsonite. That's the one that I have.
Yep.
You'd probably be able to sell it fairly easy for around the same amount of money, and you'd be able to, I guess, puts a little bit of money in your pocket in a sense. But in someone's scenario where you've had a sequential for 2 or 3 seasons, someone knows that you've driven it hard, and then at the same time is you're just cutting your pool of potential buyers into a third. Slight percentage of those people that would have enough money to be able to afford a sequential and also not have any interest in doing competitive drifting at that level. You know what I mean? And also at the same token with the ECU, I have a Motec ECU. So then I have no real pool of anyone to try and promote that sell to, because the people that would be interested in it are only going to be either Pro 1 drivers now, or people that are out of that aren't going to be really interested in doing competitive drifting, which they're not going to be the people that are going to spend that kind of money on that equipment. So that's the big issue.
Who else is? Go ahead.
I was just going to mention, and a lot of people mention this, each scenario is on a case by case basis, right? Everybody has different transmissions. There may be 4 other guys, and I don't know the exact number, that already have sequentials in the car that will have to go back to a 4-speed. My question then, and this is once again, I'm playing the other side. Are we building ProSpec as its own individual series, which I'm guessing it is? Is it still that stepping stone in creating aspirations to move to Pro 1? And then that's the case. That's where everybody's going in Pro 1 now, is going sequential. A lot of the dudes are going sequential this year. So it's like you're going to eventually go that way if you just want to use ProSpec as that stepping stone to get into Pro 1. So do you get rid of it, or do you maintain it and hope that the following year you get your license and you don't have to sell it or resell and rebuy 2 or 3 different times before you get that transmission? My other question, or my other thought in regards to this is, how big is the separation going to be from moving from ProSpec to Pro 1, right? ProSpec, stock pedals, stock column, potentially front mount radiator, front mount intercooler, 4-speed. Going to Pro 1, rear mount radiator, tilt and pedal box, and sequential. So it's like you're going to have to potentially spin that even if you move up, so that cost difference is still there if the drive is to move up, or might be able to sustain. And I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm still trying to juggle the pieces. ProSpec, run ProSpec forever, or do you still use it to motivate to go to 1?
Yeah, because there's still like a huge jump when you're trying to come in from Pro-Am to go straight to to Pro 1, in a sense of, a budget of, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's only making it going to make it possible for someone who is rich, in a sense, because it's really, really, really hard. It's really hard, has been hard to build a program through only Pro 2, much less trying to build a program in Pro-Am that you could transfer right into Pro 1. And like you said, like the jump from running a program in ProSpec to doing that transition, I mean, you're going to have to build a whole new car. I mean, a pedal box to a stock pedals might sound like not a huge upgrade to someone, but at that level of competition, being able to dial in your brake bias is huge, and you really can't dial that in on a stock pedal like you can on a pedal box. Like there's just no way around it. Your left foot braking is huge in competitive drifting at that level, especially with all these bank tracks and being able to limit the amount of force that your rear wheels are having compared to someone who has a stock pedal box that still is going to have that bit of residual drag on their rear wheels to slow them down is, it's huge. Those little incremental things are what give you the win at this level, even in ProSpec, or like you're not going out to where it could be you go out to a pro-am event and there's only 4 or 5 people or 6 people that you really are going to be like, oh, that's the heavy hitter, that's a heavy hitter. Anyone else, anyone out there in ProSpec or Pro 1 could take you down, and anyone could win a round at any time,
So that's new. So I didn't, as my noob driver and car builder brain, I didn't know that the aftermarket like pedal boxes, let's say a Willwood or whatever, you can adjust brake bias from like front to rear just with the pedal box, like an analog control.
So a lot of them will have like 3 master cylinders, so like a front master cylinder and a rear master cylinder, and a bar in between the two that you kind of like adjust so that when you're pressing it, you're getting more force onto the front master cylinder than the rear master cylinder. Whereas a factory, you got one master cylinder controlling everything. And yeah, you could put the little the knob in there, the brake bias knob in there. But I mean, even turning that thing all the way up down, which is pretty much what I have in my cars. I'm lucky in the sense that I do have I have factory pedals in my cars, but still, like, even turning all the way down, you still feel the residual drag in a car.
Yeah, because you want almost total front bias, so that way you're not
pretty much. You don't want I don't want the foot brake to do anything in the rear, to be honest.
Right.
Like,
I didn't know if there was some high tier skill that you want like a 10%, like a 20%, but my brain just says like, oh yeah, brake pedal should go front and brake handle e-brake handle should go rear. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if there's a reason to have a little bit in the rear still with the pedal, but can you disconnect the rear brakes from the pedal?
I don't think that's legal.
It's not legal.
That's how I drove.
Line lock, baby.
That's how I drove the van for like 2 years. Like absolutely no brakes on the rear, it's all front.
Can you clog up the pipes? Like if you don't, take care of it, do the pipes get clogged? You know what I mean?
Are you feeling me if we accidentally clog them?
I mean, we've pinched the lines before.
Yeah, what if some accidental JB Weld gets in there, you know what I mean, and just clogs up the pipes?
In my Ford Probe GT one day, I guess my e-brake cable got stuck on. So like even though my e-brake went down, the e-brake was still activated. And then I drove for a while and it smelt bad. And then I got out and sure enough, them rear rotors were a-glowing and it ruined the rotors. Good story, huh?
If you remember, Sam, when I won that burnout competition in the van, so obviously that thing only had like 85 horsepower. So
that's key. Yeah. That's key. Burnout competition moves.
Clamp the rear brake line with a vice grip, and then just
your job just got a lot harder, Kevin. You're gonna have to be looking for clogged pipes and clamps all day now. He's gonna be down there with his little snake camera, sticking them through your brake lines.
Yeah, well, they got those quick disconnects now. I'll just be like,
boop. Yeah, Paco, how does it sound? How does Kevin sound when he's looking through the brake lines? How does he sound?
Where is a quick disconnect in this car? I'm gonna go look into it.
Kevin, I'm so sorry for the way that Paco portrays you. It's not personal.
Sorry, Kevin.
We have a super chat from Shutter Slayer. He said, "Here's all the money I made from GameStonk stomps."
Stonks.
Corey, when did you buy in at GameStop? 400
at the peak. I know. I usually buy high, sell low.
Same. Yeah, I was like to the moon, and then I bought at 450.
To the
moon. We're still going. We're still going there.
I did my part and bought $100, and now I have like 25 cents.
$80?
No, not even that.
Yeah, how could you buy $100? That stock has barely been $100 in a week, Paco.
No. I'm saying like if you buy $100 worth of that stock when it was high, probably now you have like 25 cents.
No, if you bought $100, you now have like $88.
Well, the good thing is we have Paco as our financial advisor. We've been talking about this a long time. Maximum Driftcast, our financial advisor is Paco.
Yeah.
He is, you could see why we have him as part of the team as our financial advisor.
Let me tell you
what's
good financial advice right now, Corey.
And I'm pretty sure.
You see this?
I think Dustin just almost threw up. Dustin, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry about that.
You just had a burp on deck.
I had a burp.
You should
Well,
just let it
Dustin
rip,
put
dude.
his life savings into GameStop at $400 a share, and now he's just waiting for it to go
I
go
think I
up.
put my yeah. I did.
I
Rolling the
I
dice.
am very unknowledgeable in the stock market, but I do know that 7 years ago, when I finally was able to have more than $0 in my bank account on a weekly basis, I'm like, I should buy a stock because that's what adults do. And then I bought two companies. I was like, oh, I should buy some Tesla. That seems like a cool car company, and I want to buy. I just signed up for my Model 3 that I was going to drive, and at some point when it released, and then I also bought a bunch of GoPros. I'm like, these cameras are innovative, and Tesla, for those that don't know, is now like up 19 times from there. So my $250 went much further. GoPro went the complete other way, and I lost all that money. So in the end, I am up. But as far as if you want stonk advice, I can do 50-50 for you. Like,
Dude, you're a gambling man.
50% is going to go better than any other stonk on the market. 50%, you're going to lose 100% of your money.
Just bet split on the red and the black.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly a better gamble than.
Well,
the
that's why we,
GameStonk.
instead of wasting our money on giving companies money, we just waste our money on drifting instead. It's
Yes,
to go to the
exactly.
same place.
I mean,
I don't know where it goes. It just goes somewhere.
I'm going to need to make a lot of money off this GameStop to have someone finish my car.
That's not going to happen, Sam.
Corey said he would. No, a lot of people said they would. I think they're all lying to me and hurting me. I should stop saying so much. I listened to an audio quality test of last show, and I was
Yeah.
like, fuck, I said a lot, but it's the audio quality is almost there. I got a new mic. Paco's got a new mic. If you're in chat right now, hopefully we sound equally leveled and very husky and deep with our voices. Yeah.
Welcome to Maximum Driftcast. And
So we got a 2 for guest situation here. Do we have Instagrams for our Dustin specifically? We're not kicking you off right now, Dustin, but I want to make sure that you get your say in before the end
the
of your
internet,
time.
the internet has questions. They want to
Yeah,
know.
we can if they're not Dustin specific, then we can, if there's some more general ones there, we can hit them with those. Otherwise, let's.
I got a question for Dustin.
Oh, here we fucking go.
I'll start this off. All right. So Sam
Start
says,
off.
"Suck my eggs." All right. Stop being so All right?
Your
Stop being,
huevos?
Yeah.
Huevos rancheros.
If you could make your own rules for ProSpec or Pro 2, what would you
Ooh.
change? Now suck my eggs, Sam.
All right, I will.
That's
a
my
good-
next
that's a
question.
good-
Would you
that's
let
a
Sam
great
suck my
question.
eggs?
Yes.
First question, what would you change in Pro 2 or ProSpec? And then would you
Follow
let Sam
up.
suck my eggs?
Oh, I'd definitely let Sam suck your eggs.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
see,
you very
there's
much.
one
Your
easy
eggs.
one. Easy clap. Easy clap. I'll take it.
And for me, I mean, honestly, I was really liking where it was going. Honestly, I think the biggest, the thing that kind of like just came to my mind when you asked that was the thing that they kind of like haven't mentioned anything about, or I haven't seen anyone kind of allude to it. Is it going back to a top 16? Or are we keeping the 32? Because that's kind of the question that I was kind of thinking about today. And I haven't really heard of anyone saying one way or the other. Did Kevin mention that when
No,
he was
he
on the show?
didn't.
No, I did
And
not.
do you guys know about qualifying? Because when I was listening to Check Audio on the last episode, he did mention qualifying day. Does that mean
Yeah.
people are qualifying again? Like, do we know answers to this?
I don't know. So honestly, the only thing that I would change would be from 16 to 32. I think.
You
So-
want 32?
I just
I
got a
want a-
message
I
in
want a
chat
32.
from Ben Tranter. He says it's 32 confirmed. That sounds like he's pretty confident. He says
Yeah,
it's
Ben
32
Tranter
confirmed.
is a piece of shit, though. He talked trash on me at the very beginning of the episode. I wouldn't trust anything he says, right, Ben? Yeah, he says
Qualifying confirmed.
he just said
says.
confirmed I'm a piece of shit.
Those two
Um,
things would be what I would love to keep around. I really like the 32 idea for kind of taking a little bit of the
You want more driving,
the pressure off of qualifying.
For sure.
I mean,
right?
you don't. I mean, it's really easy to look online and see something, and you're watching, the live stream, and you're like, man, I could do that. That's oh my god, how are they struggling out there and doing that? What's going on? But it's a whole nother thing to be out there, be worried about what's going on in a certain situation. Like there was never really one single event that I was like, whoo, man, my car was a breeze through this thing. There's always something that's gonna pop up or some other thing of something that's going to go wrong, even if it's right at the last minute. I mean, I've had a steering rack go out the last run of practice where my car has felt amazing. the whole time. You know what I mean? And so you have to adapt and overcome all these situations. And I mean, it's so hard to be prepared for everything, no matter what. So it would definitely be a big benefit to kind of at least have the peace of mind to say, if I get a 77, I feel confident, and then I'm at least in the show where I'm not
Right.
out there having to, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, just an example of
Oh yeah, because there's been times where it's like you barely get your car band-aided together just to complete, just enough to complete a lap, and you do score, let's say, a 69. That
Yeah,
puts you
let's
on the
say.
bubble for 16, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh, you get bumped to 17. Well, 17th is still not bad.
Yeah.
17 out of 40 guys is still not bad,
Yeah.
and it's like, and especially as you know how much energy goes into getting to an event. Not only that, your crew guys are depending on you because they're there for you. You just spent all this resources to be there, from building the car weeks in advance, testing, tuning, building. Now it comes down to that 1 minute, and you had one slight issue. You score 69, qualify 17, back up and go home. You didn't even have a chance to fight fairly because of an issue that ended up coming up. I like having a bigger car field. The other thing I would like to see is a full seated 32 car field and cap it. I would like to see a cap where it's like, as long as you can turn a lap, you're seated in. But this also, because even right now, you look at Pro 1, we're getting 29 cars, maybe.
Mhm.
And think about this, even if some of the Pro 2 from this year, instead of changing their cars, they just jumped to Pro 1, what's the field deal like? If we kept it out of Series 32, it'd be like, some other series where it's like, squeaking. Obviously, NASCAR's a little bit different. NASCAR seats a
So like
certain
an
amount.
F1 situation.
Right. There you go.
But those are big words for Mr. 33, Corey Hosford over here.
Well, the only reason I say that is because I was in it at a time where there were 62 Pro 1
Yeah,
cars.
and you
Like,
would have
yo,
been higher.
33rd is not bad. I'm considered the 33rd best drifter for the day at this
Yep.
place. That's pretty fucking cool. That's still cool. And like the
And
other
honestly,
day, I
in
was
the world, if you think about it, at a certain level.
and it's I know the feeling of going there and having even for me, like, yo, think about these new guys. And Dustin, you've probably been here before, but it's like you just finished building a car. You're in the big lead, spotlights on you. You're going for qualifying. You're still working out bugs. You're trying to get it all together, and you lay down a lap, but it's not that. It's like,
Yeah.
give me more time. How am I going to get more time and more comfortable in the spotlight without being able to turn more laps? You already limit us as 12 laps in practice,
Mhm.
which maybe some of the times I'm only may use half of them because of the lines and whatever it may be. I haven't
Yeah.
seen that too much, but there's so many variables that go into this. That is just, I think the thing is try to get more seat time, and the more seat time is a better show. The better and longer the car runs, that means less time we're fucking working on them.
Scrub Status Racing in chat asked something that we kind of confirmed, I think, and talked about yesterday, which is, could drivers run Pro 1 and Pro Spec the same weekend? Which I think Kevin said yes.
Yes,
which
they
is one
can.
of my favorite ideas, is that a pro driver could, and I can think of any number that would love to do it. I think it's a matter of if they want to beat the hell out of themselves that hard, and if they have the budget and the team that can maintain two cars. But also at the same time, it's like, their heart's in pro to win pro. It'd be great just to bring like a more like run what you brung, set it, forget it, like pro spec car, and see like people like past champions just like throw a car into pro spec and see what they do now that there is like this more restrictive rule system. And that's like one of the things I think I do like about this, and almost in that thought, like almost, I don't want to say I want like a more restricted pro spec. I think a pro spec is about what it needs to be, but I've always, as we've heard many times on the show, I've always liked the idea of like an even more restricted spec series that would be aside from these two, that just really shows that like, oh, here's this new guy who claims he could kick the shit out of X driver that's been an FD for 20 years. Prove it. You guys are in the same cars now. So I'm excited to see some version of that with a pro driver potentially going down to I don't even want to say going down to pro spec, to go into pro spec.
Going over.
Going on over. Do you feel upgraded, Dustin? Even though you have to fuck around with your car and remove a transmission, do you feel like you're a more valuable driver to the series and to the world?
I think eventually it definitely is going in that direction that it will be. I think it'll be something that will be a lot easier to sell when you're saying, hey, we're on the same day and the same time, and the autograph signing, the little things that sound really cheesy, that's really what people, and the things that get people excited.
Everyone loves that shit. Autograph
Yeah.
signings, it's great.
So
Here's another question for you. Where would you like to see ProSpec in the next 5 years?
In the fucking dumpster. Fuck ProSpec. No, just kidding. We just talked about
I mean,
good
I would
stuff.
like to see it as like something that, as what it's hopefully designed to be, where it's similar to like the truck series of NASCAR, to where it still
Everyone's in
has
trucks?
a buzz and it still has something that people are excited to talk about, and to be like, I mean, pretty much that it was what it was. I think seeing, the competition field equaling up and getting a lot more competitive as it was this year. I really felt like this year a lot of the
Pro
cars
2 was
and a
one of
lot
the
of
best
things
years. Yeah.
was
Definitely. It was
very
fun.
equal, and I think that as driver skill, car skill, everything is equalizing in the way that they're setting things up, like where you don't have to worry about when Alex Hilburn came into Pro 2 event, back in the day with a 1300 horsepower car at a 295 and
Yeah.
was just beating up everybody with like
He did the
a
Daigo
machine gun
of-
and a knife with a
Yeah,
knife fight.
He did the Daigo equivalent of ProSpec that year,
Yeah.
and that Daigo brought this car that had
And
a bunch of
one
shit that no
thing
one
I
had ever
was
seen.
one thing I wanted to say to kind of add on to what you were saying a second ago, Sam, was it would be really cool for Pro 1 drivers to come over to ProSpec, but I think it would be cool to implement another set of rules for them as
Yeah.
being a Pro 1 driver, to say, for example, like if Vaughn wanted to come to ProSpec, okay, but he's got to bring a pretty much bone stock RTR Mustang, Spec 5D, whatever.
They have to have
right
full
off the
interior.
showroom
That's the rule.
floor, with a cage,
Yeah.
almost stock car that could be capable, if you want to have a whatever little bit of things here and there, angle.
I don't know if
kit,
that's
yada, yada,
reasonable
yada.
though for power,
think that
because
would
you're
be-
still making 600, 800.
Yo, but
How
do you
much
know what I would
making?
love to see?
I think those
Hold on,
cars make like
Dustin,
5 or
this
6.
is
Hold
this is
on.
what I would love to see.
Hold
Dustin,
on,
I would
Corey.
love to see. Hold on, I would love to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
Vaughn come down in a car that's ProSpec, to where you have Vaughn in the best ProSpec Vaughn, and you beat him in your ProSpec car.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, I
Put
think
Vaughn-
that would be
like
super
I
cool
would
too, and I would
love to
love
see
that
you
as
just
well.
just go. You guys are within the same, and you just drive him. Like I would love to see the series be the driver versus the driver. The cars are, like you said, within some sort of range. But let's see like the best Vaughn and the best ProSpec, and Dustin and the best ProSpec go
Yeah.
head to head, and then see who was that best driver that day.
But like,
Yeah.
I'm
'cause
like,
you
I would
guys have
love
to
that.
run-
I would love that. Everybody always gets a good laugh at me when someone asks me in that situation what I think would happen. But of course, like I felt like, yeah, I might sound like a cocky son, like retard said, yeah, I could beat Vaughn that day,
Whoa.
But
yeah.
if you're not that confident in yourself as a driver, you probably shouldn't be competing. Like anyone, like Corey, like if we go against each other and you say, yeah, I'm going to beat Dustin, I'm not going to be upset with you. I'm going to expect
No.
you to say that. You
Yeah.
know, I'm going to say I'm going to beat you.
the Matt Field
Yeah.
approaches, I wouldn't go there if I didn't think I could beat everyone out there. And then I
Yeah.
was like,
Exactly.
when he said that, I was like, oh fuck, I should.
have that.
And then I realized that
confidence.
I shouldn't be in pro drifting, because I would totally go up against anyone on the grid and be like, oh, this guy's gonna beat me. Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I would think myself capable. Like if you let's put in like a realm of my universe, like fucking COD 101s. Like obviously I'm gonna go against someone and I'm gonna say I could beat them. I have the skill, the talent, the focus, the drive. I can win this day, right? But if I went into that ring, if I went into Warzone prison duels, and I'm thinking this guy's gonna fuck me up, guess what? I'm out.
Oh, you're
Right,
already
Corey?
going in a deficit. You're already going in a
Yeah.
deficit.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? Let's just talk hypotheticals and potential pitches. Would you like to see a horsepower cap in ProSpec? Would you like to? Is there a sweet number that you would like to be at? The reason I ask this is like you drive a lot of Assetto Corsa, right? I've been driving a shit ton of Assetto Corsa, and the different car packs that come out, right? You have the pro level cars and you have the like street level cars. Taking a street level car to Atlanta versus taking a pro level car to Atlanta, it's like two different experiences. Sometimes you're fighting to get that street level car, even Pro-Am spec level car around Road Atlanta, right?
Mhm.
And I think the tracks that we run at some of these spots, it's like it requires a little bit more horsepower than others. Do you know if there's a sweet spot in power where you think FD can be like, do you know what? Instead of reducing costs from transmissions, let's just run a flat X number. What would that number be?
600.
Ooh.
600.
That would be the cap. I mean, honestly, they do it already with the tire size.
Yeah, isn't that what tires do anyways?
If you have 800 horsepower, yeah, you can use it a little bit, but you're not really going to outrun a guy with even 500 horsepower on that certain tire at most tracks. Now, granted, you get to a track like Texas Motor Speedway with a big power alley in the middle, yeah, you'll see some separation there. But like St. Louis, you know, what it looks like, what Jersey will be, Orlando, all those places, you're not really going to see a big separation from one car to the next just because of horsepower, you know, or even torque. Like a lot of people, you know, they might think a V8, you know, is a big advantage in drifting. And yeah, it is, because you can use that torque sometimes to help you correct certain situations where you might be able to just floor it out of a situation instead of having to clutch kick or whatnot. But you're going to have a disadvantage in the sense where on the run up, you can't really get as much traction as someone who has a turbo car that is, you know, has only 300 foot-pounds of torque at 3,000 RPM, where you have 600, 700 foot-pounds of torque, you know?
I like the idea that you have a spec called like Pro 350 or Pro 400. FD has to bring a
Pro
dyno.
600.
Has to bring a dyno onto the line, and you have to
that's exactly
dyno
what I
your
was
car.
saying.
You have
Yeah,
to dyno your
there's-
car before each run, and if you make a 1 horsepower or 400, they fucking slap you in the mouth and tell you to go home.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was never going to be able to like monitor that really, though, in a sense of, you know, I'm going to be like, yeah, I got up, you know, 600 horsepower. Boop, 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 boop. Press some
Yeah,
keys
exactly.
Well,
and-
but do you know what's happened is like, look at like some of the other racing series where they have that, you know, they use restrictors in throttle bodies or in the intake to make sure that it's running at a certain point, and they dyno test it and they just have faith. And then what would I know it's like, we say this because fuel injection is an amazing thing, right? You flip a switch and it can go from 650 to 950 just like that. But with technology that's happening nowadays, if other series are doing it, I think it's just a matter of time. Like it has to be like, we can't
Yeah,
be
but-
that far off.
I feel like they do it, but they do it in a sense of, yeah, they got, you know, restricted throttle bodies, but everyone also has the exact same engine or the exact same factory engine spec, whereas they're all rated within a certain, you
So,
know,
like-
group where you can't say, okay, every LS car is going to have this, every JZ car can have this, yada, yada, yada. I would think maybe if they did a limitation on saying, okay, the biggest injector you can run is a 1300 cc, and the biggest shot of nitrous that you can run is a 50 shot or something.
Yeah,
and
D1GP
limit-
has banned nitrous, hasn't it? Speaking of which, like,
Oh, I
as
don't know.
far
I
as
hope
controlling
not.
you.
That would
Yeah,
be
I think they
horrible.
have. It's been like that for like, I think.
Nitrous is so cool though.
Nitrous is the best thing ever.
Yeah, I think-
everyone's using it now, and,
And
I think
somebody
it's great.
said it in chat too. Somebody says, Vert says, I know D1GP has it where drivers can't use nitrous. And I think it's been like that for at least a year or two.
Well, I'm gonna show you my little friend Vin Diesel and his little friend Sneaky Pete, and we'll see about banning nitrous, homie. It's gonna be
Pop that
underneath
seat
my.
up.
It's
been
gonna
in front
be
of like 3-4 years now. Yeah. Nitrous.
It's
is gonna
gonna. I'm gonna have a fold out screen from my my double din. Fold screen comes out.
Yep.
And then I pump on the screen, and guess what? A fucking nitrous bottle pokes up from directly underneath my seat, straight up. And you're
Into your
you're still not
rectum?
gonna see it. Oh, okay, Dustin, a little on the nose there, but yes. And then so it does that, and then what I do is I go like a little like a hoot, and that uncorks the top. And then Kevin Wall comes over and Paco,
Does it
what
with
does
nine
Kevin?
hands.
And then Kevin Wallace comes over, and what does he say? He asks about nitrous. What does he say, Paco?
Well, in order to have nitrous, you gotta have to have it like routed properly, where there's like.
And then I
Oh
say,
my
and then
God,
I
I
and then I say, Kevin, this I don't have any nitrous. What are you talking about? Show me the bottle. Where's the bottle, Kevin?
Well, I mean, I know you might have it hidden under the seat. I know
Where
if
would
there's a-
check under my seat, Kevin? There's no bottle. Check. Come here. And then I push Kevin's head under the seat. Well, I don't.
No,
I don't
and then
get
come to
up.
find up, you stand up and the nitrous
I don't
bottle
know.
falls
I
out
don't
of your
stand
butt
up.
cheeks.
I don't stand up because that's
Because you
the
have
issue
it
here.
between your butt cheeks.
He's got
Or-
a strong clinch, I bet. I'm
Dude,
gonna say
Sam
he's got
has
a
this-
strong clinch.
Dude, I watched Sam clinch a 10-gallon nitrous bottle between his butt cheeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just from the
Full or
top,
empty?
too.
Full or empty?
Oh, it was packed to the gills, dude. It was
Oh,
ice
yeah,
cold.
baby.
Ooh, that's talent
Freshly
right there.
filled.
That is
let's-
skill.
before we
pressure.
He squats.
before Dustin takes off and huffs his nitrous, we've got some really good questions here. Sam Lowe says, question for Dustin. When his family came over to America, was their last name originally Kilometers? And they changed it to Miles to be more American.
We
Great
did.
driving by both of these guys. Can't wait to see more in the coming year.
We did. We changed it straight from kilos
This is
on
That's
over
a-
to the miles that we had to hide the, you know.
That's a good question.
That's
I
very
really
clever.
Like that.
I
Very
really
wholesome,
like it.
very clever. Savannah Miles says, for
Kilos of
Dustin. Okay. Savannah Miles says, for Dustin, who's your favorite sister? I'm guessing this is a fan of yours.
Yeah, that's I don't even know her. She's
It's crazy that people make Instagram names like kind of using your
Yeah.
last
Yeah,
name.
you've
and
got a
like-
fan club, and
they're,
so
they're fans.
so you would
I-
say that. Would you say that this person is a real bitch then, if if they're not your favorite?
Mega.
Wow, Savannah Miles, I'm so sorry that Dustin has betrayed you. Do you have other favorite sisters?
Yeah, no, she's. I got another one, buddy. You know, she's.
But you don't like that one?
See, Savannah, she has a very sweet place in my heart because one time she gave me a shout out on Instagram, and overnight
Wow.
I got like 4,000 followers. So she has always been my favorite sister.
Man,
Why? But she's only done that once.
Well, she's done it before, but I got them all in that first shot. Like they found me, and
They were
Does she
aware
got
of
that-
you.
does-
And
Your
she's
sister
got
has that
something in
IG
the
cred?
works though. She's my secret weapon here. She's my ace in the hole right here. In about a few years, I think she'll be super famous on the old social media, and I'll just get her little trickle down followers, and I'll be like, B-list celebrity.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
your sister has IG cred. Does she have IG cred?
She does.
How heavy? How heavy is she right now?
What's-
on IG
what's-
cred?
what's her
She's
Instagram?
pretty. She's Miss Teen Universe USA, so she's a pageant girl. So she's
Okay.
gonna be representing USA in Miss Teen Universe this year. So that's her
did
her
My
cred.
parents fucked up. My
yeah,
parents
Dustin?
made two
Why
dumb
didn't
brothers that
did
just
they-
didn't do anything.
did they put you up for Mr. Teen Universe, or is she just the golden girl that gets all the love?
Hey, I'm gonna be at the pageant. So
Yeah,
that's just
You're a
as
real
good.
pageant boy.
You got to say, hey, that's the brother. Oh,
Mhm.
hello.
I used to be a little pageant boy. My parents would take me around and make me sing and dance.
Yeah.
Let's not keep pandering on the Miles family because I have a
Yeah,
question
yeah,
right
yeah.
here.
Uh-oh.
Let's get back to drifting.
Yeah. This is from username Donna Miles.
Oh Lord.
Very good. Paco, this is the comedy
nice
I'm talking
segue,
about.
Paco.
It says, for Dustin, what type of car works better if you're building your first drift car?
See, I can always
Oh.
count on my mom to get us
Aw.
on
Thanks,
top.
Donna.
Oh,
Drift Mom's
thanks,
the
Donna.
best.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's so many great options out there anymore, like E46, E36, or a 350Z. Basically, those are your top three choices.
I have a 240 for sale. S14, barely
Shut
used.
up, Sam.
$30,000.
Real
Nobody
quick,
asked
That's
you.
top. That's big money you got right there, Sam. You need to sit on that
30,000.
another couple years, and you're gonna be
Yep.
trading that for a Ferrari.
She's an American
Yeah.
classic.
You know
full
what you got.
interior.
You
Full
say, "I know what I
interior.
got."
Never been drifted. Never even stalled it.
No.
speaking of, real quick, parenthesis.
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 What does
Here
that
comes a
even
new
mean?
segment. This is a new segment of the show called
Parenthesis.
Paco's Parenthesis. Paco,
Pac's
hit us with your
parenthesis.
parenthesis.
Just a couple days ago, it was Drift Mom's birthday. That's-
And she turned
yeah.
a very special number.
Can anybody guess how old is Drift Mom?
420. No?
She's an old motherfucker, Sam. Jesus Christ.
Wait, if she's a motherfucker, how does...
No, she. Come on, Dustin. What's your guess? How old is Drift Mom?
She got to be 69.
Hey,
Oh,
nice.
Dustin, grow the
Boo, boo,
fuck up. Hey,
Boo, boo, boo.
grow the fuck up, guys.
She
turned
Sam. Your mom's 69.
She turned 68.
Dude.
She turned 68.
Dang it.
She turned the
All right.
same age you were conceived, dude.
Is our other guest on the line? Is he?
Oh,
just
shut up.
ready to
Are you
come in?
mad because we made a 69 joke, Sam?
No, you can 69 my mom all day long. That's what she's here for. She will 69 everyone in chat if
Already
it
made
would help.
one bad child.
If it would
Look at
help
you.
her son. If it would help her son out. That's the kind of mom she is.
Love right there.
What a beautiful woman.
Do we have our other guest ready? I'm not
it's
trying to kick
coming,
Dustin
yes.
out, but
No.
I have to get back to work eventually, guys.
Shut up, Sam.
Paco has a super chat for us at 269. It says Sam Nalvin is a little blank, and I'm guessing Gem, little sweet boy.
Yeah, the little sweet
We're gonna
boy.
say Sam is a little sweet boy. Thank you, Paco. Then we have Ben Tranter, my favorite guy in chat, hands down. Would never call him a little bitch or nothing. Says, make your mom fight. Pat Gooden's mom. # Donna fight. Yeah, that's
Hey,
true.
hold
You got
on.
a Donna drift
We have
Donna.
another Donna. How many Donna?
3 Donnas?
Wait, what's the
Who's
third one?
this?
We have 2 Donnas? Oh,
So-
2
Well,
Donnas.
it's Pat Good.
Right, okay.
And
I'm
now
looking
there's got to be another Donna mom.
Gotta be.
Yeah. I did.
Anybody in chat who has a Donna mom, please.
Yeah, please let us know.
Let's ask
Donna
this
moms for
guy.
the win.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if this guy has a Donna mom. Hey Travis, is your mom's name Donna?
No.
Oh, god damn it. Let's kick him out. Next
Dustin,
guest.
we got to say goodbye and thank you to Dustin. Dustin, enjoy your icy flavored
Cheers.
mixer. Is that cat in the background? What's that?
Where's
Is that,
that's
is
a
that
cat.
bear?
How many cats you
That's
have?
Pearl.
That's a
We got
that's a
two
good
of them.
look.
We got
that's
Pearl.
a-
We got Bear.
Are you and
Pearl
Sam
bear.
became just best friends right
They're
now?
cat buddies.
Hey Paco, just because someone has a fucking little. Never mind.
How
I'm
many?
going.
How many?
I was gonna say just because you meet another guy with a little dick doesn't mean you have to become best friends with them. But then I didn't want to say
Yeah,
it
we got
because
that
it
in
sounds
common,
too
too.
mean.
God,
sounded-
we're
it sounded-
friends.
I didn't want to say it because it would have sounded too mean, so I didn't for the record.
Oh
I-
man, I thought we
I
were
hate
brothers.
No,
all of a
no,
sudden.
Dustin,
we
we're
were
not
this
brothers.
close to being brothers.
Dustin,
BDG,
we're-
Baby Dong
Dustin,
Gang.
we're Eskimo brothers. Don't worry.
Oh man.
Dustin, it's excellent to see you. Good luck with
Yeah, dude.
turning your car into a broken 4-speed with no collapsible steering column and a stock clutch pedal like a goddamn idiot.
idiot.
Yep.
What a chump.
You
Enjoy
guys
your
have a
free
great time.
ECU. Enjoy your
I'll,
free ECU, you little bitch. No, just kidding.
I'll be
You had-
laughing on what you guys do to troll Mr. Reader now.
I would never troll a reader.
No.
Reader- And I don't even know if that's our next guest. I don't know why you would think that it is.
Well, think about it. He's going from an S chassis to a BMW, so something must be fucking way wrong.
All right?
Yeah, let's go correct him.
I thought we were gonna have Battle of the S chassis tonight, but he's
No,
like he
he's
done
sold
dipped
out.
out on
He's
it.
sold out.
He's
Good thing he's not
gone,
here
so,
yet because fuck, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, later.
Dustin,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
having me.
Later,
I
Dustin. Thanks for
appreciate
coming
it.
by,
Great
bro.
talking.
Good luck with
buddy.
everything.
Thank you. Have a
Thanks
great
for
one.
being here, bro. There you go.
All right, let's get Travis on the
All right,
line
now
here.
we can
Travis.
start talking some serious
All right,
shit.
so Travis is we want to bring him on the show because he's fucking pissed about this mandatory
He's so
ECU
fucking
stuff.
mad,
He's
dude.
mad about this mandatory ECU shit, and he was saying like, "I fucking hate these ECUs. I don't want to throw this garbage in my car." Right, Travis?
Paperweight this shit.
Oh, there you go.
Looks like-
Oh.
oh wait, never mind. That's a Link ECU hat. You must be
What
a
a
little bit excited.
sellout.
What a sellout, Travis.
Oh boy, he's in on the conspiracy.
Isn't
dude.
it- isn't
He's
it true
on-
that-
he's in the conspiracy?
Where's
Link
my
ECU is handing out ECUs to all the drivers and then forcing them to wear Link ECU hats, right, Travis? That's what this is?
I mean, this hat fits pretty good. I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, it does look like really
You
good
know-
hat.
You know what would be even better, Travis? If you turned your
Paco?
phone sideways.
Parenthesis.
Oh,
Paco.
Paco.
Paco's
Ah!
parenthesis.
Paco's parenthesis corner. I love it.
Is that where it's at?
Hell
That
yeah.
looks great. Now,
Yeah,
Travis,
great, buddy.
Travis has joined the Lumberjack Guild by the look of his surroundings. He's in a big lumber barn.
What were we doing? Some
Uh,
chopping wood today? Were you getting some
Yeah.
wood?
You got some hickory, some walnut.
Look how
What's
cheap.
that?
Is that back? It's probably backwards, huh? Look how cheap those tires are.
No, I can see that.
Let's see what tires
New
you have.
new 6-ply commercial nylon,
Nylons.
$14. What are those, accelerators?
Well, you can still buy rubbers for $13.95, but they usually come in like 20 packs.
I used to buy those nice $60, $50 tires from the AutoZone. Had some, I forget which ones they were, but they did go good on my 140 horsepower KA. You can do like another $50 tire, $195.
Yeah, that's the other sign over there is a set of 4 full treads for $28.80.
They don't make them like they used to, huh,
No,
Travster?
no way. I'd totally run the size 670 by 15, whatever that means.
675 by 15.
Yeah, I used to run that. On my
I
stock
thought that was
KA.
your waist size,
Yeah.
Sam.
What is that?
funny, I'm
Is that good?
No, it's just big in the waist and ugly in the face.
Wow, that's mean. Okay.
Oh,
sorry.
Sorry. I had a bunch of really intelligent
Go ahead now.
related
Ask
questions
him,
for
ask
Travis.
him some
but
questions
now,
about Donna, Sam. I've been
now
waiting
I'm
for this.
now I'm blushing. Travis, is your mom Donna as well?
No, my mom's Cheryl.
How fucking dare
Fuck, that's
she?
another powerful name. Donna and Cheryl's powerful mom names, dude.
Mhm.
Paco, what's your mom's name?
Carmen.
What?
Carmen.
Carmen. Nice.
Corey.
Sharon.
Fucking Sharon.
What?
Thanks for sharing,
We have two
idiot.
Sharons here.
Hey. Travis.
What's behind you?
What's going on with that little tube behind you?
I'll show you, I guess.
Oof.
So I've been building these things. It's building up the tube structure in the back. It's kind of hard to
Okay.
see, but
Oh,
you're already
okay. Yeah, I
doing
know. I
work.
know where that goes. I
Yeah.
know where that goes. That's cool.
doing fabrication,
Fabrication.
some
Look at those.
Oh, I
you-
have to throw the butter
oh,
down.
baby, look at that. He's been
Oh.
throwing ropes all over that thing.
Damn,
Isn't
dude.
that-
That's a CrossFit well, dude. Just swinging
I
them
bet-
ropes.
I bet Dylan Hughes right now is just like stomping
That
his head on
mother.
the desk, like God
He's
damn it.
fucking stabbing himself in the gut with a little Japanese blade. What
Yeah, we
is
battle.
the inspiration to go to this? Because, well, let's go take a step back. Historically, you, I imagine, didn't ever intend to be in the 240, the S13 for so long, but she's been your tried and true stallion over these years, and we're very successful in it on multiple occasions. But what's up with the change now?
So the S13, I've been driving that car for 10 years.
Hell yeah.
I'm surprised it lasted that long. But yeah, that was my first 240. Bought it in high school, and it did great up until the last couple years where I needed a car that just had a little bit more in it. So a little bit more wheelbase, a little bit better suspension design. BMW is the way to go. I have an E36 for practice car. I've been driving that for a few years, and
Right.
I just love the way it drives. So, I figured one with 1,000 horsepower could only be better, right?
Yeah. What BMW chassis are you working on right now?
So this was an E46 M3. So I cut it all up, and yeah, it's
Looks
just
like you pretty much ruined it.
Yeah.
It used to
Oh,
it used to have a
totally.
lot of body panels on it.
Look at all that-
and,
look at all-
interior.
Look at all those fiberglass panels. They look great. What's that?
yeah. Look at these things.
Ooh.
Oh, Paco, shut the fuck up.
Ooh.
Yeah, Paco, stop bragging about your shit, all right?
Ooh.
They look like they were built. Is that goddamn fire sauce on one of them? It looks like he got fire sauce and oh my god, Paco, that's unprofessional.
Yeah.
Is that-
they
is
fit
that
horrible.
Cholula?
Is that cocaine dust, Paco, on one of those? Have you been doing blow off
Have you
of
been
your
doing
own
some bam
product?
bam off the back of Travis's car?
Paco, are you doing smack?
No.
What?
That's just quality parts made in America.
Travis,
Samuel.
can you go closer on that? Is that human teeth inside the fiber?
Oh, that's
Did someone get murdered and
What,
put
right
into
here?
Paco's? Yeah,
Right
that's
there?
what that is. Yeah, it looks like someone got murdered and put into
Okay.
Paco's fiberglass
Oh, come
rear
on.
panel.
Paco says quality. There's a bite taken out.
That
the
one,
side.
that's
Yeah.
called the mold release. It's a multiple piece mold.
I don't know
That's-
what you just said.
That's the seam where the mold. And actually, it's funny. I wanted to address that real quick because a lot of people say that our parts are made in multiple parts and then attached together. And no, those are actually the seams of the molds. The part is a one piece.
Chat, can we get you guys to say that it's a two-piece just to confirm? If you guys can look that up and let us know that it's a two-piece.
Yeah,
we
go ahead and
appreciate-
let us know in
appreciate that.
chat if it's a two-piece. And Travis, how much did he make you pay for this?
It was super cheap, like $2,000 or $3,000, and they fit horrible. So,
Yeah.
it was a great deal, and it's the only option I had, so I had to take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate that. Maybe now Paco can afford to upgrade his internet past 5 megabyte upload.
I'm gonna email you tomorrow, Travis. Thank you.
No, they do
I
fit
was
amazing.
kidding.
It was like this car got hit in the right rear corner. They went into a K rail or something and moved some stuff, and just a couple smacks with the old hammer, and these things go right on, and they fit amazing. So I'm pretty pumped on them.
Talk shit, get hit. Let that be a lesson to you, Corey.
I don't know what that means.
That means that if you make fun of me or my mom or any other disadvantaged people ever again, Travis is gonna hit you with a hammer.
No, he's not gonna hit me with
Yes,
a hammer.
he
I'm gonna
is.
call Donna right now.
Oh, look at that. He's
don't.
got his
Look at
snappy.
that little
One.
ball peen hammer, dude.
He's got his snappy. That hammer has got little BBs in the head, so that way the weight goes. It's really cool. I know a lot
It's
of
a
Shut
people
up.
Morocco, dude.
Yeah, it's got
It's a
Morocco, and that
Morocco.
is fun. I have done a little. Wait, what is that hand? What is that motion, Corey?
Oh, don't.
Do you know what
Yeah.
this one it said?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's-
Oh, that's the
that,
just.
that was my old nickname in
That-
high school. Is the big hammer.
That one's a Mexican,
hammer.
the Mexican screwdriver.
What?
Mexican screwdriver.
Paco,
No
we don't
wonder
wanna
why
hear
you
about
built your parts all fucked up, Paco.
Yeah.
You
come
can't
on,
tell
man.
the difference between tools.
And also, I don't need to hear about your sexual escapades on this show, Paco. You do your dirty moves elsewhere, okay?
Well, I mean, I just want to take a moment to say that confirmed power bottom Frank Mirabelli
Yes.
just thrusted $2 on us. Thank you.
That's nice that we
Thank you.
have this new. Paco's been really hard at work. Travis, you probably can't see the overlay right now, but Paco made a really fucking ugly overlay for our YouTube channel, and also
It's
did a bunch
spaghetti,
of
Yeah, it's
also
pretty
did a
fucked.
bunch of like Twitch streamer like notifications. He originally had this notification say like total noob or something. Did this, thought I gave you money, but then thankfully I caught him at the last minute and changed it to confirm power bottom thrusted this amount of money.
into
So-
my mouth.
So you're welcome, chat. Yeah.
And I could have just like said
So good.
FJM 98, but I want the internet to know that Frank
Yeah.
Mirabelli
Yeah,
it's
thrusted $3 in your mouth.
Yeah, the confirmed power bottom Frank Mirabelli.
And that is nice too, because it's gonna get people more likely to throw some money at us, because they're gonna be like, I want to be a confirmed power bottom. But we're gonna have to change it up though, because it's not as special if everyone's confirmed and a power bottom. Frank said, did Trav sell the 240 yet?
Oof.
I have not. I still have it.
Yeah, why would you sell? It's your high school car. That's your
Yeah.
chariot. That's your stallion.
Yeah, it's just like, so I have the E36 for a practice car. The S13, it has a lot of sentimental value. Obviously, like I
Mhm.
built it with
Right.
my friends and gramps and
Yep.
like family over the years, and it's just one of those things. Like it's just gonna rot away, like in a storage unit and sit there, and it can't really go back to stock. It just kind of is only good for what it is, and
Yeah.
now it can't even be a Pro 2 car, or Pro Spec car.
Thanks, Kevin. You
Why
goddamn
not?
asshole.
Why not?
No factory pedals, aftermarket steering column, all that good stuff. But which
Thanks,
I don't
Kevin.
agree with, by the way.
Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah, I want to hear a pro competitor.
Drop it
'cause
on
you're
us,
not-
dude. Yeah. And you spent a lot of time in Pro 2, and you've done very well in Pro 2.
Yeah.
So the way I see it is I understand where Kevin's going with it. I totally do. Like I get the overall picture. The pedal thing though, I have personally broken like 3 or 4 sets of S13 factory pedals, and I've broken 2 E36 clutch pedals because they're plastic.
Yep.
That's
Stop
like
doing so many squats, dude. You got a power thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got power thigh.
Thyroids.
It's just like it's a safety thing for me. Like I want like rigid pedals that I know aren't going to fall apart. The BMW stuff, like this car, I was going to kind of make it conformable sets of rules, because they gave us all the ability to jump and like move around and compete in whatever things we want. And but I started looking at it and like I don't want to put a plastic clutch pedal in that thing with a twin disc, and the gas pedal is notorious for like unclipping from the floor and like doing all sorts of weird stuff in these cars. So I'm just putting a pedal box in it, and then I took out the nasty factory steering column and put a nice one in there. So
Didn't Kevin say that you could buy a clutch pedal specifically?
Yeah,
our
Garagistics
show.
is making a billet clutch pedal. That's pretty much.
Yeah. And also, I recommended that you go to AutoZone and buy the foot gas pedal, so it's like a human foot. I think those are allowed, Kevin said.
yeah, for sure. And the dead pedal on the left, that's also the foot,
Mhm. So it's
Like
2 feet. And he
I'll-
also said that you had to have a very small chain link steering wheel, right, Paco?
Basically, yeah, I mean, obviously, like the lowrider, chain link
Mhm.
wheel, 3-point seat belt, just factory.
100 spokes
factory.
only. Yeah, that was a really fucked up part about what Kevin was saying. Like, oh, we're gonna make you do a link ECU. Oh, we're gonna make you use this brand's pedal box. Oh, you have to have 300 spokes. One spoke more, one spoke less on these wheels. 13 inches max size. You're out. But I think honestly that's kind of rude of him. But I think that it's gonna finally bring some style to FD.
Yo, but he knows the weaknesses in these cars with certain sets of pedals. I'm sure there'll be like a exception for certain cars that have that problem.
None of what he said is malicious, of course, and they
No.
obviously have the best interest of the series, and I think drivers at heart. But it seems like a lot of people are poopy pants about this, and I'm just wanting to get down to it. Would you? I don't know. You said that you don't see the justification for that aspect of it. What about? So if you were making the rule book, you would say pedal boxes are allowed, but not mandatory.
How much does a pedal box cost anymore? Once again, I just keep looking up cost because it seems like everybody's worried about cost. But what's the cost of a pedal box? And is it worth it to spend the money for the benefit? Right?
Yeah, you can get them anywhere from $350 to $800 with cylinders, depending on what one you buy, like how fancy you get. The thing that I like though is having the front and rear brakes on a separate cylinder. So
which I just learned about. I don't even know about that aspect of it.
Yeah, so like if something tears, like if you rip a brake line for some reason, like you at least have two wheels braking.
Yeah.
But I mean, $800. We're building like professional race cars here, so it's not really like
that
one of
one.
those things.
That's kind of cool, actually.
That one feels. Corey, you run stock pedals in your turd boxes?
Yeah, and I just run a brake bias adjuster.
Mm-hmm.
See, in the Corvette that I'm building, I got a hanging pedal box, and honestly, like I wish I just had factory pedals. It's a pain in the ass. Like
Versus a floor mounted
versus
one.
a floor mount. I mean, the floor mounted seem to be a lot easier, especially if you have the masters mounted in front, which basically will be behind your feet. But if you want to do hanging because you don't have room, it's a pain in the ass. We did the same on Chris's car.
I can't actually fit one of those because I'm already hanging dong.
Yo, low hanger.
Corey.
Am I a low hanger?
No. You just didn't make any noises at my funny joke.
Oh, I made a joke earlier and you didn't get it either. So
what was your joke? I'm sorry.
Turn your camera around and show us that tire sign for $13.98. So I said, Sam, I said, oh, a tire for $13.95. I'm like, I said you can still buy rubbers, but they usually come in a box of 20 for $13.95.
A box of
But see, Sam's an idiot and doesn't get that. Like that flew right over his head. So you can still buy. You can still buy.
I scared. I
$13.95.
I scared the cats. I scared the cats.
So your jokes have been really bad tonight, and I just feel like you're off your game because you didn't even catch that.
I did. I caught it, and I did laugh a lot inside. But I was too busy. I was too busy looking at those fucking spaghetti. It has been throwing me off all night. I don't know if you've noticed something wrong with me. Looking at this background of what Paco has put us in, I mean, it is growing on me in a perverse way, but also at the same time, I'm thinking of like what is inside of a nutsack. Is it that? I don't know. Like, what was that? What was that noise? Okay.
I mean, if I could interject real quick, the only thing you need to fix on your end, Sam, is that very deep V shirt you're wearing.
It's not a DV. It's like a comfortable pajama shirt.
Oh, it's kind of like it was like spreading like there you go.
I can open it up more.
Okay, go for it. I don't know, Travis. Are you allowed to? How old are you, Travis?
27.
Okay, good. It's fine. There you go.